itself, I guess that's where I'm a little bit lost.
I don't understand what you're asking there.
I think what you're asking is there more than to help out with the shortfall? Is there other than just this?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking. Yeah. Because I guess I'm not entirely sure what to think of it, but focusing on this, is there other things also that we are going to be focusing on in addition, parallel, or is this part of, to me, this is a very tactical thing, whereas there's other things that are tied into or tied with this that we should be doing as well. Does that make sense?
Everything is on the table as far as whatever we do, you know?
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
Well, there has to be more than this because
Right.
no one
So
can
what
take
is that?
advantage of it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start with this.
Okay.
So if it was to continue on, maybe I'm jumping the gun way here, but if it would continue on, depending on where the state does for funding and stuff like that, if I suppose it would be looking at RIFs down the road if we don't have the monies to do it. So this is one way to try to help cut the expenses. If we could, as you said, if some people would retire, we could bring in younger teachers, cut some of that payroll type thing. But I don't think we're to the point where we're looking at a RIF, but this is one way to start that process of, if nothing stays even, I don't know what our projections are down the road. I haven't looked at that very close, but that would be one other option. If that's what you want, options and different things that we've been.
Yeah, I mean.
Because there's a point where the payroll will get to, if nothing changes and we continue to decline a little bit, then that would be the biggest expense that we have is payroll. So that's where you end up having to cut. And that's what this is to try to do, is maybe start looking at that through attrition, be able to satisfy that.
And if you went over all this in the last meeting, my apologies.
No, they haven't. But that's just where
We've talked about it loosely in the past, years, offering it for those teachers that maybe close to retiring. And a lot of what holds them from it is probably insurance. Maybe this would help get them to that point. Things such as this.
And I don't think we're even close to looking at that, but this is just starting the wheel and process. If it would help that. We don't want to get to that point where we'd ever need to riff somebody or anything like that, but this, and I don't.
I'm trying to avoid that.
Right.
So the idea is to continue with the programs, wherever we get candidates from, the programs would continue. It's just that you're looking for cost savings on the resources. Okay.
It's always a double-edged sword, because you have a teacher who's got 20 plus years of experience teaching, and you're trading that for a teacher who we never know. Maybe we get teachers that have been out there for several years that have good backgrounds, but if it's a first-year teacher, you never know what you got.
Well, right.
So it's one of those, you hate to do this, but at the same time, we don't want to cut programs or anything like that either. So it's one of them balancing that. Am I saying, I hope I'm not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
They can bring it up to 8 years, right? Teachers on am I correct, Loran?
I'm sorry.
If you hire a new teacher, it might not be a brand new teacher, but they can bring it up to 8 years experience, puts them on a different pay scale too. So there's a lot of things that really hard to put a hard number on anything until 3 of them you can get pretty close. Three of them's huge for the district. Financially, it would be 8 years. I had a number figured out once. I hate to do it now on TV. So I guess, do you want an answer on 20 to 25 years from us?
Well, do you want to pursue something like, do you want me to put together this,
Yes.
I think it's
Might-
worth offering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not out anything for offering it.
Yeah,
At
I
this
mean,
point.
I guess,
I think the main thing to ask is where are we gonna take the money from? The Flex fund? Okay,
So does any of that come from the retirement fund, or the retirement funds just to pay off sick days
None of it
accrued
comes from-
and?
The only part of the retirement would, the TRS retirement side of it, we do have a portion that we would be responsible for, but it would come out of the retirement. But there's also,
I used to know.
all the taxes and retirement and everything will come out of
Retirement
the
fund?
retirement fund.
And that's where the sick day accruement comes through too? or
No,
not?
the sick day stuff, that's all general.
this isn't an action item,
Nope.
so basically what Chuck is asking is input to move forward and we have the money in flex fund to offer this. It doesn't come out of the general budget.
I would put it at 20 years. What do you got to lose?
Well, 20 to 25, you mean?
Well,
think
you
you
want
can.
to, you
What's
want to
the
leave
minimum
it
of?
A minimum, oh.
a minimum of 20, but you can,
20
anything
and
above
up.
20 and up. I mean, you really don't have anything to lose, do you, by going down to 20 versus raising it higher?
Do you have anything to lose? No.
No. Most of your teachers probably at 25 and plus are going to be the ones that will take advantage of it. The 20, maybe not, but
Typically, yes.
so how would you characterize your success with backfilling, getting the candidates that you want at the price you want? I mean, speaking very technically. The quality you want at the price you want and the longevity. I mean, how's that gone in the past?
Depends on the program.
Yeah,
Okay.
it depends.
So I guess here's what I'm getting at, just very candidly, is if you lose a highly qualified asset to this offer and you backfill with that you can't find what you're looking for,
Mhm.
so then the overall program suffers. So I guess that's my first.
that's a gamble we take.
That's, I mean, that could happen if we did with or without the incentive package. So if someone chooses to leave the district,
Right.
you're still in the same boat. So I think we've had some pretty good success hiring candidates over and I can speak more of the elementary in 15 years and the high school and elementary in the last 5 years, but we've had some good successes replacing staff who have left our district. Have we saved money on everyone? I think so. We have hired people with master's degrees and 10 years of experience. So it's not the savings, but it does save.
You're doing two things. You're cleaning up some room in your budget and you're giving that teacher that has served us for several years the opportunity to leave earlier. If I don't really see a downside to it. So what the difference is, 1 or 2 years on the program and the kids in the program, change it to a new teacher, you're 1 or 2 years difference. It's all the timing of who's interested in applying at the time. As far as that goes, as far as I'm concerned.
If you'd like, we can make this an action item for the next board meeting and you can, I guess, vote on it and we can discuss it further, whatever you want to do.
Well, is there any other, I see you got highlighted, I mean, you want to continue on, so we got an idea, so the only other
Well,
thing is-
okay, yeah, and then they will have until blank date, I need to fill in there. We could, a maximum number of 3, but we could change that. You could do 2, you could do 1, you could do 4. I mean, really, then the lump sum of 20,000, you could change that too. Yeah, I mean, you could make a whole new retirement incentive package It's all, again, I made this based on the previous one we offered. Thought it'd be a good start, which was approved by MTSBA language-wise and whatnot, the attorneys there, and so I thought, well, might as well start with that.
And
So-
TRS.
And TRS, yes.
So ones that I've seen in the past, and again, I don't have any experience with public sector really, but they in order to push more of the cost into the retirement side versus the general expense side, is they would do things like offer to add 5 years of service or something like that, which then pushes. That doesn't,
We're trapped on the,
we have limitations
TRS,
there.
TRS and
Oh.
PERS, there's nothing we can do. Their years of
That's
service
manual
are
still.
worked and earned. They can buy back service. If they have that service to buy back,
Mhm.
that isn't something that we can do.
But it's not something we offer, like, if you have 20 and you take this offer, you can get 25 years.
Well, you could, but you'd be, I'd guess, spending $100,000 to $125,000 per employee who took it to pay for those 5 years for them. It'd be very expensive.
I'd like to make an offer to come in with Patty, and I would come in, or any of us, Chuck, too, if you would like to, and you can kind of build a model of what this might look out with 3 teachers.
I think
And
that would be
then
worth.
plug that
Get an
into the
understanding.
budget would help you out, maybe something else in talking to Patty. There's some things to know as far as the levies go and stuff that you need to be aware of.
Sure. I think that'd be
Before
great.
that goes, just some